Good evening. Welcome, everyone. I'm Jim McBride, ALRP's Development Director. And I'm here tonight with the effervescent and ever-present Donna Sachet. Donna, thank you so much for being here.
Well, listen, I don't want to make a big deal of it, but it was a lot of trouble. I had a very special garage door opening scheduled tonight. And, you know, I love cutting a ribbon. I was going to cut the ribbon for that garage door opening. I had brand new scissors and everything, but I heard this was happening, so I made the choice.
Well, that's so sweet of you. We really appreciate it. And we want to thank all of you for being here tonight as well. We want to welcome you to the Bill Hirsh 20th Anniversary Roast and Toast, or as I like to call it, Bill's Worst Nightmare. Welcome, everyone. So Don and I are your hosts for tonight's festivities. And as you can see, we're joined by an amazing collection of people who paid big bucks to be able to roast Bill in public. And you know what they say about paybacks? Hint, it rhymes with itch. And of course, Bill is here to witness the carnage. I mean, the joy and caring and love. Hi, Bill.
Hi.
So Donna, you look amazing tonight, and how appropriate that you are wearing black instead of your signature red. Me too. I mean, this is a funeral after all.
It's going to be a sad night for somebody. I don't know who, but you know, it reminded me when we heard all that music at the beginning. You know, it was beautiful music. It reminded me sort of the '60s and '70s. And people say that Bill is really trapped in the '60s and '70s. I want them to know right now he is in his 50s. He just looks like he's in his 60s or 70s. But anyway,
yeah, I hear that. Well, I have to say, I mean, it's been an amazing year, right? With COVID and wildfires and the election.
Did you use the word amazing? I don't know what it's been. It's been extraordinary, I guess. But picture this, an extroverted entertainer locked up for 6 months. I mean, it's been miserable for me. But I love opportunities like this to get online and see people. I don't have a response, though. If we're funny, how do we know we're funny? We hope we are. So we'll wish for the best.
We're going to do our best to be funny and to make it a really fun night for you. So don't worry, folks. Tonight, Donna and I are here to help you put the rear end in your year end.
Excuse me, did you just call me an ass?
Well, God knows, I've been called worse, mostly by Bill, actually. So this is the time during the event where we would normally thank our sponsors for making this evening possible. But when they heard the event was for Bill Hirsh, well, let's just say we don't have to worry about thanking any sponsors tonight. Oh well. So before we get started, we want to remind folks that this is a free event, but I wouldn't be a development diva if I didn't invite you all to donate to ALRP as part of this evening. So to make a donation, simply visit www.alrp and click on the Donate Now link in the right side menu. Feel free to donate whatever you think Bill is worth.
Let's see here. I have a note. We've raised already. $1.57. That's excellent. No, that's not too good. So let's see what we can do. Maybe get it to an even $2 at least.
Well, it looks like we have some work to do to get to our $100 goal tonight.
It's a start at least.
It is a start. So because the Roast and Toast is a Zoom webinar, only the roasters can talk live to Bill. Right, Bill? You can hear me?
Yes.
Good. So, but everyone watching in the audience can use the chat function to make comments, to heckle Bill or Donna and me or any of the roasters. And then immediately after the Roast and Toast, there will be an after party Zoom event. It should start at about 7:15 or so, depending on how long the roasters go. So everyone at the after party will have their own Brady Bunch box and can talk and chat directly with Bill, in addition to using the chat box there. So here is the after party Zoom information. The meeting ID, as you can see, is 886. Oops, I went a little too far here. 5598-2084. That's 886-5598-2084. That's the meeting ID number. And then the passcode is the word nifty.
Now, do you think Bill will actually be there for the after party? I kind of wonder because he usually doesn't stay up that late. But
yeah, I hear that.
Well, anyway, we'll see if he's there. We'll be showing that slide with the information later in the program, so you'll make sure you're there for the party. The party follows Bill's rebuttal. Now, Bill, you can't say anything until the end. Save your comments, make notes if need be. Your rebuttal is towards the end, and you have several seconds to do that. So, but anyway, the after party will be until everyone gets bored, which if Bill's there, it won't take long. But it'll be great. He'll fall asleep, and we'll leave him there sitting in a chair. It's gonna be fun.
Well, I also want to remind folks that this is a roast and toast. So we'll be toasting Bill near the end of the event. So be sure to have something you can toast with. Donna, what cocktail are you drinking tonight?
Well, how did you know I was drinking already?
Uh-oh,
I've been drinking since the rehearsal this afternoon. I'm having what I call a Donna Sachet. It is vodka, cranberry juice, a twist of lime, and a secret ingredient.
Okay, I'm not even going to ask. And I'm having a Harvey Wallbanger, one of the cocktails that Bill suggested for the toast tonight. And you can find all of Bill's cocktail suggestions for toasting on the Bill Hirsh 20th Anniversary Roast and Toast event site.
Oh, is the cookbook available there too? I know he's quite a cook and he's trying to make a little money now that he's retiring. Whatever we can do for you, Bill, we'll try.
Well, he's known for his brownies, that's for sure. The event site is alrp.ejoinme.org/Bill Hirsh 20. Now, of course, you can also have a non-alcohol mocktail at the ready for the toast too. So, in fact, to get the fun started, Donna and I came up with a little drinking game for tonight.
Oh, no, wait, I didn't come up with this. You did. Don't be putting it on me.
All right, I did. It borrows from the Andy Cohen TV show, Watch What Happens Live. So every time you hear this word tonight, you take a sip of your drink.
What word?
Of course, it is Bill's favorite word, right after folks and groovy. Are you ready for it?
What could it be?
The special word is nifty. Got it?
Oh,
nifty.
So that means we sip now, right?
Anytime you hear the word nifty during the roast and toast tonight, you take a sip of your drink.
Including Bill.
Now, make sure you know anybody can say nifty, not just Bill. Any of the panelists or roasters can say nifty, not just Bill. I'm 3 sips behind. Hang on.
I hope we make it to the end of this program at this rate. Wow.
I hear you there. Okay, so let's see. This is going to be a fun night. I'm sure we'll make it to the end. I actually have backup cocktail in my little.
I bet you do.
Well, my name's McBride after all. So Donna, now you've known Bill for a long time. What comes to mind when you think of Bill Hirsh?
Well, I mean, I hope everybody can see the image there because he's in one of the Brady Bunch squares. And, you'll see a lot of pictures of him tonight. I mean, really, when you look at the photos, he looks the same as he did 20 years ago. I mean, he hasn't aged a day. He's aged 7,000 days, but there he is. He is who he is.
I think it's 7,307 days to be exact. But anyway,
such a mathematician. Oh my God.
Well, speaking of people who have known Bill for a long time, our first roast and toaster is the one and only California State Senator Mark Leno. Mark Leno is here tonight. Mark, thanks so much for going first for us. We really appreciate that.
Not easy.
So there are a few leaders. There are a few leaders that bring more heart and smarts to their community service than Senator Leno. Did I mention that he studied to be a rabbi? Let's see if he thinks Bill has been a good Jewish boy. Just kidding, Mark. In truth, Senator Leno has been there for ALRP in more ways than we can even remember. And he was there for us on one very dark day in 2004 when ALRP lost 40% of its funding overnight through dramatic cuts in Ryan White CARE Act funding. It is really only fitting that Senator Leno be the first up tonight. Welcome, Senator Leno.
Welcome, Mark.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Donna. It's a pleasure, honor, and slight embarrassment to be with you all tonight. And Jim, thank you for outing me as a rabbinic dropout. My roasting skills may be a bit rusty as I haven't used them in the 2 years since that big Donna Sachet roast at the Castro Theater. But, that got me thinking. As I know you know so very well, many people are saying that they have never seen Bill Hirsh and Donna Sachet in the same room together. Think about it. They're the same height, have the same shoe size, and both love spiked heels. Then there's Bill's fascination with hair and hats, and Donna's got that strange thing for wigs. They are both often seen in bright red outfits and enjoy breaking into song at any moment. And let's not forget their insane and compulsive commitment to doing good in the world, especially aiding those with HIV and AIDS. They clearly thrive in pandemics. There's some massive fraud going on here, and the growing and obvious evidence, you wouldn't believe what we're finding, has a lot of people talking and asking, how long has this deception been going on? In the same 20 years that Donna has been producing her songs of the season and the annual Pride Brunch, Bill, lucky for us, has been leading the AIDS legal referral panel. Under Bill's leadership, ALRP has focused its talented legal efforts on supporting those living with HIV. Whether the need is to protect housing, immigration, insurance, or employment rights, government benefits, access to health care and credit, or family law issues, Bill and his committed team of lawyers are on the front lines daily. In his spare time, Bill continues to serve on the American Bar Association's Standing Committee on Lawyer Referral and Information Services. This committee provides support and assistance to local public service lawyer referral programs so that ALRP's successes can be replicated where needed. Bill's heart of gold is strangely and suspiciously similar to, yeah, you guessed it, Donna Sachet's. It's no wonder so many people are talking about this curiosity. We all want and deserve answers. Bill, I raise a glass. You are heaven sent, one of a kind, and we are so fortunate that you're fighting for our team. Love you very much.
Thank you so much.
Where do you come up with this stuff, Mark? My God. In his spare time, I guess. That was really good. Okay, if that's the way it's going to go tonight, we're going to have a lot of fun. I do want to clarify something. You know, one of the things that separates us, I mean, you know, Bill isn't he a vegetarian? I think you're a vegetarian, aren't you, Bill? I'm certainly not a vegetarian. I mean, Bill is a dedicated vegetarian. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, a lot of people sit around on the couch and watch TV all night. Couch, potato, anyway.
Donna, did you know that Bill is also a universal life minister?
No.
It's true.
He could marry you and I?
It's why he keeps his hair long. He wears Birkenstocks and he wears robes most of the time. And it's also a ploy for him to be invited on scam vacations. I mean, destination weddings.
But there are differences in the two of us. I don't know. We're going to clarify that right now. Later on in the program, we'll appear in the same cube and we'll make sure you know that we're different people. Now it's time for the next roaster. And I must say, this next roaster is really a nifty person.
Love you, Donna.
He's a good friend of mine, and he's the CEO of PRC. That's Brett Andrews. Now, there are many CEOs and executive directors in the city, and they all do very good work, but he's one of the few that frequently outdresses me. It's not a good thing, but he does it anyway. But he looks great. I mean, he dresses differently, but he dresses beautifully, and he is quite a talent, and we're so lucky to have him. He's been here at the PRC since 2003. He received a Master's of Arts from the George Washington University and his bachelor's degree from Penn State, which is also where Bill went, I think, isn't it? No, that explains a lot. Anyway, let's see, that explains a lot. And Brett and Bill have worked together as community leaders for many years in many different capacities, including leadership roles with HIV/AIDS Provider Network. I'm sure Brett has stories that will take quite some time, but we only have a few minutes. Let's introduce Brett Andrews.
Welcome, Brett.
We want to hear Brett.
We got a little sound issue there, Brett.
We have to unmute you because I don't want to miss a word you're saying.
Oh my God, we finally found a way to silence Brett Andrews. It's possible.
Oh, okay, he's coming on in a minute. And Brett, at some point during your roast, I want to see your feet and see what kind of shoes you're wearing, because I happen to know in first very good authority, you have a beautiful new pair of shoes.
Well, while our tech team works out with Brett, I'm going to let you know that, did you also know that Bill was the executive director of the Mental Health Association before coming to ALRP?
What does that mean?
Well, what it means is I'm not sure that he really learned anything there. I mean, he kept me on staff for 18 years.
Well, I have wondered.
Not sure that was a mentally healthy decision for anybody.
I have wondered about that. 18 years. And did you know you were there the whole time?
Okay, is that better?
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay, I've cut into my time.
Let's see your shoes.
You now have 10 seconds. Go.
Exactly. So Donna, so good to see you. And Mark, it's so fitting that Mark goes before me, and that we are toasting and roasting Bill, because this is going to be a lot like a sandwich. Soft and pretty on one side, soft and pretty on the other, but the middle is going to be a little rocky. So I get here to San Francisco, and two of the people who reached out to me first to congratulate me and thank me for taking on PRC and welcoming me into the community was Mark Leno, who sent a handwritten note, which was so sweet and lovely, and Bill Hirsh. Bill, I hope you remember this. You were the first executive director to reach out. It was so kind, so generous. It meant a lot. I was new to the city, and I needed support along the way. So I want to thank you for that. And I said we should meet sometime. And indeed, we did have an opportunity to meet. And of course, my first time seeing Bill, I'm thinking, okay, well, look at this little interesting character. And so it was February and it was chilly. And I looked down and there he is in Birkenstocks. And I'm thinking to myself, I look down at my patrician foot and ankle, and then I compare it to that thick ankle and substantial foot that he has. And I said, he'll be just fine. So he'll be fine. And then I got to that hair, and we all are going to say something about that hair. And I've had fantasies of either like completely cutting it off in his sleep, or blowing it out and giving him a beautiful.
Oh,
profile.
yes.
Wouldn't that be beautiful?
Dinah Ross sort of thing.
Oh, it'd be gorgeous. A
trying
little
to get him-
fashion something with it.
I've been trying to get him to do a Cut Bill's hair fundraiser the whole 18 years. I didn't succeed.
You didn't do it. But the one of the biggest things that I remember is this, and Bill and I have approaches to solving issues, different approaches. And one of them I was tasked with coming up with Happens holiday party. And I had an idea. Donna, you're going to appreciate this. For all the hard work that Happen did, HIV/AIDS Provider Network, I thought how fun it would be to have a holiday party at Harry Denton's Starlight Room. So, didn't we? Past hors d'oeuvres, the wine was flowing, the beautiful food stations, and Bill hit the roof quietly, but he hit the roof. And the very next year, the pendulum swung the other way. And I want to say we had Domino's Pizza at Bill's house. So we had a cost savings there the very next year. I'll just never forget it.
And I went to one of those two parties. I'll let you guess which one.
Exactly. So anyway, I'll finish with this. You could search far and wide and you'll find few people who hold such a passion and such a commitment to the community. He has intuitive generosity. He's intuitively thoughtful and kind. And I just want to thank him for his longstanding leadership at ALRP and the extraordinary work that you do in the community. And Bill, for your presence. You don't mind to politely push. And those pushes get us exactly where we need to go. So I just want to thank you for your commitment and your big presence here in the community. Bill Hirsh, here you are, nifty little thing.
Oh,
Thank you.
I heard nifty. Let's go, people.
excellent.
I don't know if we are going to make it to the end of this. Okay.
But can you believe it, Jim? That's the shortest I've ever heard Brett talk.
I'm going on mute. Goodbye.
We did threaten him with the mute button after all. So next up, we have the wonderful Jim Wood. Jim is a longtime ALRP supporter who has received pretty much every award offered by ALRP. Jim has over 40 years of civil trial litigation management and pro bono experience. He was a partner at Reed Smith and served as senior pro bono counsel at the Transgender Law Center. Jim's participation in the AIDS life cycle is legendary, and he looks surprisingly good in a red dress. Watch out, Donna. He's been supporting ALRP since 1995, and he serves as a panel attorney, and he's even served as co-chair of ALRP's board of directors. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Jim Wood.
Well, thank you, Jim, and thank you, Donna. I'm here in the Oval to receive an executive clemency for Bill for his multiple omissions and commissions of unmentionable faults and flaws that we'll hear about in detail tonight.
Thank you, Jim.
Painfully. So you don't think I have it, huh? There it is. Well, there it is. And signed.
It is.
Signed.
Is that a Trump pardon?
It's a Trump pardon.
Oh my God. How did
But
you
we
get-
all want it. All right. It reads, the pardon, the first of many for more of those more worthy and deserving to follow, reads as follows. To all to whom these presents shall come, greeting. Whereas Bill Hirsh lives and works in the city of San Francisco, where that very nasty Nancy Pelosi lives, who can't seem to do her own hair like I can, and who likes to eat during a pandemic in Chinatown, which I'd never do. Whereas Bill Hirsh celebrates his 20th anniversary as executive director of the AIDS Legal Referral Panel in the year 2020, the greatest year ever in the history of the universe, with the greatest economic recovery ever in the history of the country, until the fake news media perpetrated the greatest hoaxes ever by creating the virus, ripping the economy, lying about Javanka, and stealing the election. Whereas Bill Hirsh will have a job in 2021 and I won't. Whereas Bill Hirsh has the most talented, smartest, and experienced team of volunteer attorneys at his command, which would, when combined, form a law firm that is the biggest, never ever before seen in the history of the world, and who are all winners, unlike my Barat-shaming loser Rudy Giuliani, and whose team I have to withhold payment of their fees to make them de facto volunteers. Whereas Bill Hirsh has done more for the community than my two pieces of shit attorneys general ever did for me, believe me. Whereas there has not been a fundraiser, budget, strategic plan, or AIDS walk where Bill Hirsh has not manifested his Chicken Little, the sky is falling moxie. Whereas Bill Hirsh will be remembered as a man with great hair, a loving heart, a brilliant mind, not so great shoes, and a compassionate spirit, and who eats really weird food. But I too will be remembered because I built on the mall the greatest memorial since the time of the pharaohs that will be more grander than that for that second-rate President Lincoln. Now, therefore, be it known that I, Donald J. Trump, do hereby grant clemency to the said Bill Hirsh for the unpardonable offenses of wearing really ugly shoes, of eating very bizarre stuff that he calls food, of being a fundraising curmudgeon, and for being a much better caring, considerate, compassionate, thoughtful person than I ever could be, or for that matter, including any other member of my family, friends, associate, cabinet members, past and present, and every acting anything ever appointed. You are so pardoned. Bill, if this is the worst thing that happens to you tonight, you should be grateful. But we are all grateful for you and for your 20 years that you've given to each of our lives, that you've inspired in each of our lives. And our prayer for you is another 20 nifty years. Congratulations.
Oh,
Thank you, Jim.
It's the pardon's in the mail.
that was amazing. That was really, really sweet. The presidents, they also pardon turkeys too, don't they, at Thanksgiving? Donna, is that?
I think you've been
Thought I
very
saw
worried
that
about
somewhere.
that. Now he's off the hook. Our next
I
next
Yeah.
roast here is really ready, and I don't want to delay her any longer. She's a very busy person. Martina Kukulus Lim. She is the Executive Director of the Eviction Defense Collaborative, or EDC. EDC is the lead agency in San Francisco working to implement San Francisco's right to counsel in eviction cases. Martina and Bill's work, they both work closely together to get the city to provide funding that is necessary for housing clients to stay in their homes. What could be more important? Martina, thank you for being here tonight, for all the work you do, and let's hear about what you think about Bill.
My goodness, thank you, Donna, for that introduction. And what do I think about Bill? Oh my gosh, that was not the question that I was asked to prepare. So I was asked to prepare a roast or a toast for Bill, and I started wondering, what am I going to do? What am I going to talk about? Bill is the most amazing, lovable, generous person. And then so I asked a friend of mine who works with us, and she goes, you could talk about so many things, Martina. What is wrong with you? And I think I remember hearing someone say, or reading someone say earlier on the chat, that they wanted to thank that individual who has been helping Bill for all of these years manage his phone and his email. I feel like that poor person must be on life support at this point with Zoom, because every single time I have a meeting scheduled with Bill, 5 minutes before the meeting, I got a text from Bill, a nifty text from Bill, I might add, asking me, what's the link? I don't know how to get on.
Oh.
I got a drink too. So thank you to whoever it is that is helping Bill show up for these really important meetings to talk about tenant right to counsel, or his hair, apparently, because that's why we're here today, to talk about Bill's hair. I am so jealous of those curls that Bill has that I would like to cut them off and make a wig for myself, because those curls are amazing. I don't know how you do that. I don't know how every single time they're like perfectly curled. Donna, you were right. It is really difficult to be funny when there's dead silence. I thought it would be fine. I have months of practice. I've been running staff meetings that are pretty much like this, pretty much dead silence, but it is a lot harder.
We're laughing.
Thank you. So this is a fundraiser. And so one of the things that I did want to make sure that I addressed is, for any of you that are concerned that Bill may misspend one of the dollars that you donate, I want to assure you that that is not going to happen. You have no reason to worry. As ALRP's master contractor for the tenant right to counsel system, I'm here to let you know that I had to tell him he needed to ask me for more money. So he is not going to be misspending anything. He's having to be encouraged to ask for more money from people. And hopefully with that, he does hire the paralegal. Before I end, I just want to, I am saying Bill is cheap. That is exactly what I'm saying. Thank you. I was trying to be a little bit more subtle, but thank you, Michelle. The last thing I want to say is when I first got the job at EDC, I was told you have to talk to Bill. You have to get to know Bill. I did not understand why I was being told I had to speak to this person. I met him. He was amazing. And I thought, they're right. He's so generous. It makes sense why I would have to meet him. But I didn't fully understand why knowing Bill is so amazing until COVID. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Fort Funston. It's this fantastic place where you can take your dog to the beach and they can run free and the kids and everything. I saw him one day when I was climbing up the stairs for Fort Funston. I didn't actually know it was him, but I heard his voice and this wave of thank you, God, came over me. And I saw his face and I go, oh, there is my savior. So Bill, thank you so much for saving me the 2.5 years that I've been at EDC. It has been beyond a pleasure knowing you. And thank you for the dozen cupcakes as well.
Thank you.
I want to thank our tech team for impromptu putting some music underneath of you. That was very quick thinking on their part. I also am going to steal from here on in the concept that Bill Hirsh is the heir apparent. Thank you for that one too as well. That was great. So one of the things I was going to say from the last time when Jim Wood was talking about the Trump pardon is that I wouldn't say that Bill Hirsh is an idealist, but for the past 5 presidential elections, he voted for President Bartlett as a write-in candidate. Just saying, got to get those in there before the end. Okay. Here we go. So up next we have a kind and gentle soul who I'm sure will only be showering Bill with toasts and accolades. Yes, Matt Richards is a partner at Nixon Peabody. Matt served on ALRP's board of directors for many years, including as the board treasurer. And in fact, he knows where that elusive Hawaii fund lives. So who knows about Bill and the money? Matt currently serves on the ALRP Advisory Council and as a volunteer ALRP panel attorney. He has been a leadership donor for over a decade, and he's been at more ALRP Legal Eagles AIDS walks, walking for our team for more years than I can even count. Matt, it's finally your chance to rake Bill over the coals. Enjoy.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Donna. So they say that when people tell you the truth about themselves, you should believe them. Well, the truth is, I first met Bill long before I joined the ALRP board at a major donor party that my friends Jeff Wilcox and Haley Hibbler, both board members, had invited me to. I wasn't a major donor at the time. In fact, I only vaguely knew about ALRP and its mission. All I knew in that moment, as my friends made the introductions and I watched a distinguished gentleman with a magnificent ponytail single-handedly crush a Lamed mezza platter, that man was living his truth. There's actually no truth to the rumor that Bill immediately asked me about my major donor level, though in what I'm sure was a coincidence, he did almost immediately introduce me to a colleague of his named Jim. Also, no truth to the rumor that Bill's pandemic project has been to save Lamed one mezza platter at a time. But is it a coincidence that Lamed's business has continued to thrive? There's also no truth to the rumor that Bill asked me at that first meeting, which, to be clear, was well into the 21st century, to write my name and number on a card so that he could add it to his Rolodex. But it has the ring of truth, doesn't it?
Rolodex.
And speaking of technology, I know we were all devastated for Bill and Thompson that their long-awaited trip to Africa had to be postponed by the pandemic. But am I the only one breathing a sigh of relief that we've avoided, at least for the moment, a 6 carousel slideshow? Now, they may not have seen anything on Safari this summer, but it's time to talk about the elephant in the room, Bill's hair. I actually had a whole set on hair, but they made me cut it for time. Let's see here. I've
got Bill's here for time.
Hair, the early years, hair, the 80s, hair in Y2K, hold on, hair accessories, no, hair motifs, hold on. Oh, hair days, no. Strategic hair product placement reserves. No, okay, here we go. Okay, Bill, thank you for steadily leading ALRP through good times and bad, and for modeling grace, generosity, humility, and tireless advocacy. And for quarantine hair way before it was cool.
That was a winner.
Okay, here's another one. You know what they say, big heart, big hair. Let's see, how about this one? Bill, I say this from the heart, get a haircut. No, but if imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, then Bill, please consider yourself flattered. Behavioral psychologists have been telling us that the pandemic is a time for reflection and personal growth. And I get it. I've been nurturing these gorgeous locks ever since lockdown started.
Looking
Now,
good.
Bill, you've got a couple of decades on me, but I am coming for you, Hirsh. In truth, Bill, you are one of the wisest, kindest, gentlest, most persistent, and most generous people I've ever met. ALRP is so fortunate to have had you at the helm for the past 2 decades. Just looking at that beautiful slideshow at the top of the program, it was a poignant reminder of the extraordinary breadth and depth of your impact, not only among your friends and family, but in your community. And I have been so greatly blessed, not just to have met you or to have worked alongside you, but to have become your friend and a part of your extended ALRP family. I love you so much. I'm so happy for you. And it would be really nifty if we raised a glass and toasted to the next 20 years. Cheers, Bill.
Cheers.
Thank you, Matt.
Cheers.
Your hair looks great.
It'll come out.
I'm coming.
It needs a couple of summers. It'll come out with it.
That was really wonderful. And Matt, I also want to, Matt did a nice job. He teed up a little segment that's coming up shortly called Hair the Musical, where we honor and highlight the various hairstyles of the one and only Bill Hirsh through the years. Matt, you also touched on Bill's technology prowess. Bill and computers, they say that, Bill's a Luddite. It's really true. I've seen him walk by the copy machine and it would just break down for just because he walked by. The same for the fax machine and the printer and the microwave oven in the kitchen. The only machine that actually works for Bill Hirsh is his 8-track player. And millennials, Google it. You'll figure it out.
At least he's got something that's working, I tell you. But that thing about the Rolodex, I mean, really, do you have a Rolodex, Bill, really?
Actually, I got a Rolodex longer than Bill did.
Oh my God.
I have to own up to that one. He does.
I saw one at the Smithsonian one time, but that was the last time I saw it. Okay. Well, we have another roaster up for you. You're going to love this, Bill. We have got Brenda Larrabee. She's the unsinkable Brenda Larrabee. She currently serves as the Senior Development Officer of East Bay Community Foundation. It's been a nonprofit consultant since the turn of the century. No, not really. The things they make me say today. Brenda's consulting clients include SF Jazz, UCSF, the San Francisco AIDS Foundation, the Transgender Law Center, and NCLR. Brenda and Bill share a love of folk music. We'll get into that a little later. When he learned that she had worked with Mimi Farina, Joan Baez's sister, on Bread and Roses Musical Festival, well, Bill swooned with jealousy. Let's see what kind of music Brenda has in store tonight for Bill. Let's hear it for Brenda Larrabee.
Hey, Brenda.
Thank you, Donna and Jim, and dear Bill. Oh my goodness. Thank you for 20 years so far. of Leadership and Love at ALRP, which also was one of my clients at one point. It's been an honor to work with Bill in this community for the last 20 years. I fondly remember standing alongside him at many fundraising galas and then many check presentations because we are the tall ones in the back. But I've also had some great fun sitting alongside Bill at numerous concerts over the year as we share this love of music, as Donna said. Mostly folk music, singer-songwriters like John Gorka, Cheryl Wheeler, David Wilcox, Tracy Chapman, Joni Mitchell, just to name a few. And while Bill is a rock star of Elton John proportions in my eyes, here's my tribute in folk star terms with an extra special show tune thrown in. Who knows where the time goes? I've seen life from both sides now, and to everything, turn, 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 there is a season, turn, turn, turn. 20 years is 80 seasons, and I am sure they were all seasons of love. How do you measure a year in a life? 525,600 minutes times 20. That's 10,512,000 minutes. In daylights, sunsets, midnights, in fundraising galas, board meetings, AIDS walks, donor lunches, grant proposal deadlines, and retreats. You've been working 9 to 5 and often well beyond into the evening in a tie and shoes possibly other than Birkenstocks. Sometimes it's been like the eye of the hurricane, calm and yet still crazy. Other times the water is wide, but you cannot swim over. But if you're patient, Michael will row the boat ashore, hallelujah. And the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence will help to trim the sails, hallelujah. The times they are a-changin', and Bill is not a big fan of change. His work husband, Jim McBride, is exiting stage left to retirement, and we welcome Adam Michael Royston to the family. There's no time for Bill to be shopping at any estate sales anytime soon because we're still talking about a revolution, and we need you, Bill, to continue to be one of our leaders. Many of you know Bill is from New Jersey, about which our friend John Gorka sings, "There are girls from New Jersey who have that great big hair. They're found in shopping malls. I will take you there." As those of us who've been around long enough know, and we've all referred to this, Bill's big long hairstyle hasn't changed for 20 years. Well, who knows, maybe even longer. Those curls may be glued on, no matter. You are aging well. If it be your will, I hope someday you'll take a big yellow taxi and be a free man in Paris, walking along the river, hanging with the ladies of the canyon. But for now, don't be blue. We'll drink a case of you, you nifty man, while nibbling on some of your favorite big soft chocolate cookies. I want to give a shout out to my dear friends and fellow members of the ALRP family, Lisa Hoffman and Kevin Walsh. They provided some great intel for this tribute, and I want to be sure to add some of their appreciation for Bill, who always puts his ego aside every day to make sure that ALRP's focus is focused on being in service to its clients and his deep commitment to justice and fairness. So here's the last thing on my mind in regards to Bill on this auspicious occasion. Don't think twice, it's all right. Thank you for your amazing grace and heart of gold. Keep blowing in the wind and we shall overcome. But if hard times come again, don't worry, be happy. It's a big old goofy world, so pull out your album of Puff the Magic Dragon and everything will be all right. And keep on being nifty, Bill. We love you.
Nifty.
Thank you.
That was wonderful. Thanks, Fran. Sweet, sweet. So now it's time for a really nifty special presentation.
Nifty.
Oh yeah, that's right. I said it. Sorry. Nifty, everybody. Oh man, that is yummy. Thanks for that Harvey Wallbanger recommendation, Bill. So this is a special presentation of Hair, the musical. Oh, and you know what? Don't forget, it's not a fundraising event tonight. So whatever you do, do not visit www.alrp.org and click on the donate now button and make a year-end donation that's tax deductible. Do not do it. I almost forgot to stop folks from doing that. Bill would have been so mad. Okay, so back to Hair the Musical. Now, Hair the Musical is a short 2-minute fun presentation you won't want to miss. But if you need to refill your cocktail or take a little bathroom break, now is the time. So without further ado, we present to you Hair the Musical. Enjoy.
Hilarious and so well done. Wow. Oh,
Donna, did you enjoy
that
that?
was absolutely fabulous. And look at you. Did you change clothes?
Well, yes, I did. I mean, you can't be a development diva if you don't have at least one costume
If
change,
I'd
right?
known who I was emceeing with, I would have brought a change. I can't believe it.
Well, it is my last hurrah. I'm getting it all in while I can. I have to say special thanks to Karin Nyhus for the inspiration and assistance in the making of that masterpiece. Thank you,
Well,
Karin.
somebody referred to his hair as the elephant in the room. I don't know. The problem is with him, he has no choice. He's got that hair and he's either got to have it or not have it. With me, if I don't like my hair, I take it off.
Well, it's true. I mean, with the hair, it goes with Bill. I mean, I don't know if it's the long hair, he's Bill. Is he a lesbian? You know, some people say Bill's a lesbian. I don't know if I would say Bill's a lesbian, but all I know is that Katie Lang called and she wants her Birkenstocks back. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
So anyway,
Who writes your material?
Yeah, what can I say? I love Katie and I love Bill. So now we continue with the roast and toast. And our next guest is none other than San Francisco Supervisor Raphael Mandelman. Yet another gay Jewish San Francisco politician.
Oh. Supervisor
Mandelman needs no introduction, but Bill said I had to do one. So here it is. Just kidding. Supervisor Mandelman represents District 8, as we all know, on the San Francisco Board of Supervisors, where he is a staunch advocate for HIV services. He received a Master of Public Policy from the Harvard University Kennedy School of Government and a JD from University of California, Berkeley School of Law. No slouch here, people.
He's educated.
Really. He has supported ALRP in many, many ways, including serving as host of ALRP's annual reception and auction. So please help me welcome Supervisor Mandelman.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Donna. And hey, Bill. Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing okay.
This is a very gentle roasting.
You think?
It's pretty nice.
I'm halfway through, Raphael.
What people can say about you is that you have got great hair and you wear Birkenstocks. That's pretty good. I will say I'm feeling extremely triggered through this whole thing. Dana Van Gorder is as well. You know, the hair, just the constant talk about hair, nothing but hair. It's extremely upsetting. And I will say that, you know, some would describe this as your worst nightmare earlier, but actually I think roasts are a lot harder on the roasters than the roastee, because, you know, you have to like figure out how to say tough things about people you love, which, so we've been panicking about this, you know, for the last week in the Mandelman office, because we love Bill Hirsh, and it's been very hard to think of even mildly, you know, cruel or sassy things to say about him. So, you know, if you hate my jokes, they're my staff's. If you like, I do want to, of course, thank you, Donna and Jim. Thank you, Jim, for all of your work at AIDS Legal Referral Panel, and Donna. I've said it before, I'll say it again. You are the permanent and perpetual First Lady of District 8. You are such a treasure for San Francisco, and you just keep giving for all of us. So thank you. And what a panel of roasters. May none of you have anything bad to say about me. Thank you. You know, so, you know, we'll just go back to hair at this point. So did anyone notice Mark Leno's COVID do? Also, you know,
are you?
looks amazing. But also very, you know, I'm very jealous of all the people with the flowing locks going on here. And speaking of hair, I have let my staff know that if I'm ever asked to participate in another roast, to confirm whether or not Brett Andrews is going to be there. Because if you're going to be the bald guy in a lineup, you want to be the good looking one. And, you know, that's not going to happen if Brett Andrews is around. So, you know, Brett is fantastic at his job. He's also the Dorian Gray of San Francisco. He's an amazing ED. We have so many amazing EDs. I see you out there, Lance Toma. Looking forward to hearing from you. I can't imagine being at the same job for 20 years. I've had like 7 jobs in the time that Bill has had this one. I do know that that if I don't give Bill what he wants in the upcoming budget cycle, I'll be looking for a new job in 2022. And speaking of our budget, I know this is technically a free event, but I do want to encourage everyone to open up your wallets and go, as Jim has mentioned a couple of times, go to www.alrp.org, so that maybe, just maybe, Bill will take it easy on me this year when I let him know that the city's broke. Who am I kidding? Bill never takes
good luck with that.
at City Hall. That's not the way he rolls. One of our superpowers as actually our only superpower as elected officials is our ability to give out commendations. Mark Leno perfected this to a high art form. I know Bill and others of you probably, you know, have entire rooms full of these certificates, but I did want to take advantage of this opportunity to get a little Board of Supervisors certificate for Bill Hirsh in recognition of his 20 years of service as the Executive Director of the AIDS Legal Referral Panel and his many milestones, accomplishments, and hair lengths. Over those 2 decades, the Board of Supervisors extends its highest commendation and appreciation. So we love you, Bill. Thank you for everything, and I look forward to getting beaten up by you again this year at budget time.
Thank you, Supervisor.
Or actually, anytime, Bill.
I thought you were going to ask for checks to the city.
Very nicely done. And you were talking about gentle. You were so gentle. I don't know. We'll have to give you some material for your next roast.
I know. Well, here's some material right now. Like, everybody's being so sweet to Bill, and it's really driving me a little crazy. They all say he's the sweetest guy they know, and there is a reason for that. The reason is that he keeps sweets and chocolates in the middle drawer of his desk at the office, and had our office manager set up a nanny cam to make sure nobody steals any of it.
Oh, Bill.
How sweet is that? Seriously.
I didn't know you had that kind of budget for a nanny cam. But anyway, our next roaster is, of all people, Lance Toma. He needs no introduction, so just come on up. No, wait, that was Jim made me say that. we're going to give you a little introduction because you may not know who he is. He's the CEO of San Francisco Community Health Center, where he has worked for 21 years, similar to you, Bill, even longer than you, actually. We should be roasting you, or could we turn this? No, not in one night. It's too much roasting. The marshmallows would be burned. Okay, let's save that for another 21 years. Now, we're going to have this next roaster has lots to say, but we're going to try and keep it to 4 minutes here, or 3 minutes. He serves with Bill as the co-chair of the HIV/AIDS Provider Network, and he's working to ensure that fundraising to support the San Francisco model of care for people living with HIV is robust. Robust, Raphael, robust. Lance, come on up and give us some fun roasting of Bill. Lance Toma.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Donna. It's so good to see you. And thank you, Jim. And to follow Supervisor Mandelman, what an honor. And it's just an honor to be part of this incredible celebration for my dear friend, Bill. As you've heard, I've known Bill for many years, but I want to say that my life changed in May of 2015. Two things happened. Our good friend, Mike Smith, left AIDS Emergency Fund. Mike and I were co-chairs of the HIV/AIDS Providers Network. And with Mike leaving, there were huge shoes to fill. And we did some big hairdos to push that other guy aside. And we got Bill to step in. And it was unanimous. The entire membership of Happen was unanimous that Bill would be the next co-chair of Happen. And I was the lucky partner in crime to serve with Bill. And so for the past 5 years, it's been incredible. I feel like the luckiest person in the world to get to work with such an amazing advocate and strategist alongside Bill. We're quite a pair, as I'm sure you can imagine. And so I've been trying to find the best well-known dynamic duo that fits us, Bill. And so the first that comes to mind is Sonny and Cher. Of course, you and your hair, without the bangs, totally share your iconic sense of style and glamour. You are totally Cher, and if this story goes on, our love child would be a fabulous trans activist. Makes for a pretty good story, but Sonny, as a Republican, that's not me. So you can keep this story about Cher for you. The pair is not us. So I'm going to move on. The next pair I was thinking about was Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. So you're definitely Paul Newman, the handsome hero, the leader, reckless, adventurous, robbing, thieving. I'm not sure all of this makes sense, but it's about their synergy and friendship. And I do like the idea of me being the Sundance Kid. I think that's why I'm trying to make this work. They're a sexy pair. They do crazy things. Like, I really do think we shake down City Hall together for HIV funding. And it's a lot of fun, and we do good work at it, and we're pretty good at it. And then maybe I'll go to Thelma and Louise, the queer adventure of a lifetime between friends. Risk takers, leaders, leading a life, following their passion, but driving off a cliff, we wouldn't do that. It's another thing we have in common. It's being grounded, and we have common sense. And we have two fabulous husbands. We wouldn't leave Thompson or Eric in this way. So really, here's what I landed on. And once I thought about it, I thought it worked perfectly. So Captain Kirk and Spock. So I'm not a total Trekkie, but I did watch Star Trek growing up. You as Captain Kirk, me as Spock. They definitely play up each other's strengths. Both brilliant. They come from different upbringings and worlds. They have their unique talents and gifts and work in such tight unison in service of a common vision.
Did you say tight uniforms?
Tight unison. And deep down, it's all about their friendship, working together to lead the enterprise, searching for new worlds, going to places no one has ever gone before. And I really do love this analogy for us, Bill. This is what we do for the HIV community of San Francisco. Every year, we come up with our game plan, we strategize, and we fight. And we don't stop fighting until we get what our community deserves. And we have a record of success, you and me. So my dear Captain Bill, it continues to be the highest honor to be a co-chair and co-leader with you. Together, we have fought for every penny and sometimes millions of dollars to ensure that our HIV safety net is intact and as strong as ever. I couldn't imagine a better captain, and I'm just so lucky to call you my good friend, fellow strategist, and confidant. To the new and improved Captain Kirk with a whole new kind of hairdo. A toast to my dear friend, nifty dear friend, Bill. Bravo to you.
Thank you, Lance.
That is so sweet. Very nice. Great job, Lance.
Now I have to ask you, Jim, if you were on the show with that pair, I mean, would you be one of the characters? I love Star Trek. I would want to be probably Uhura.
Yeah, and I can guess why. But
I don't know.
We'll just leave it
Who
at
would
that.
you be? You'd be Scotty, probably. I'm giving the engines as much as I can, Captain.
I can't hold her, Captain. She's breaking up. So I do want to share, slightly related to Star Trek, okay, not really, Superman. I have a secret to share with everybody. Do you know what Bill Hirsch's kryptonite is?
I've been wondering for a long time. What?
Only our next roaster is going to know the answer to this. Bill's kryptonite, no, it's not chocolate brownies. It is, in fact, blue eyes. He can't resist them. I'm telling you. How do you think I got this job? If you ever want something from Bill Hirsh, just wear a bright blue shirt. I am not kidding. This works every single time. It's like taking candy from Sweet Baby James, or in this case, Sweet Baby Billy. So speaking of our next roaster, it is none other than our wonderful ALRP managing attorney, Jamie Rush. And it's really my dear pleasure to introduce Jamie. And she's been with ALRP almost as long as I have. She's originally from Chicago, and she started at ALRP in 2005 as a law clerk when she was just a child. That's for you, Jamie. And she served as staff attorney for many years. Now, as ALRP's managing attorney, Jamie assists Bill in supervising staff attorneys. She manages the ALRP's law clerk program, and she continues to work directly with ALRP clients. And rumor has it that Jamie has long set her sights on Bill's job. Just saying. Jamie's office happens to share a wall with Bill's office, so I'm really excited to hear what she has to share with us tonight. Welcome, Jamie.
Thanks, Jim. So I think it's very telling that the blue eyes thing got a little mention because Jim happens to be colorblind. Truly, you guys may not know that, but Jim is colorblind. I have brown eyes, and so he may not know that, in fact, I have earned my long LRP.
Good segue.
In spite of the brown eyes. So good try, Jim, but not my eye color. It's wonderful to be here as this sort of unofficial representative of ALRP staff and clerks and office volunteers. I would like to mention that because Jim is retiring as of, I think, this Friday, I am really the only roaster here who is employed by Bill. And so the many attorneys who are watching this, please take note. If I am laid off in the near future, have a really good retaliation defense, and please take note. So I did, I reached out. There's so many people who have worked for Bill over the 20 years, and I wanted to try to kind of speak on behalf of most of them. I did ask for some remembrances and feedback from folks, and the overwhelming majority of responses I got were on one single topic, and that is food. So I am happy to share with you tonight, Bill, on my behalf and on behalf of all of the past and present ALRP staff and clerks and office volunteers, an original poem, and it is entitled An Ode to Bill and Food. I have to read it. I'm sorry, I did not have a chance to memorize it. It is hot off the presses. This is the first reading of this anywhere in the world, so get ready.
We're honored.
An Ode to Bill and Food. When you think of Bill Hirsh, what comes to mind? A man who's compassionate, patient, and kind? All this is true, but it doesn't end there. The list of his virtues is as long as his hair. But virtues aside, Bill still has some quirks, including his habit of eating at work. Each staffer at ALRP soon learns the lesson that Bill's love of food borders on an obsession. It starts with lunch on your very first day, and guess what? ALRP will pay. But you're stuck with wherever Bill chooses to eat. And he always chooses that place with no meat. So Ananda Fuara will be your first meal, during which Bill will ask how you feel about folk musicians like Joni and James, and please God, pretend like you recognize those names. Bill's meals in the office are also consistent. A giant salad, of course, but he is insistent that he forgets one to bring one himself. Eric must go over to Ted's or else. Bill can't eat his salad without reading the news, so his paper will be laid out while he chews. But lest you fear that a salad's too healthy, Bill has proven to be quite stealthy. In his desk drawer, not quite hidden, but he tries. It's filled up with Hershey's from small to king size. One cannot talk of Bill without noting his greatest fear, even worse than having Trump in office 4 more years. It's the fear that at a party the food might soon run out, that the order from Lamed was not the right amount. 2 cakes are not enough. Let's get at least another 3 and make sure one is vegan and another gluten-free. You might think this phobia is something rather odd, but for those of us who work with Bill, it's just part of the job. He gives his time, his kindness, and his wisdom to all others. The least we can do is forgive him for being worse than our Jewish mothers. Cheers, Bill.
That was fantastic, Jamie. Great job.
Thank you, Jamie.
San Francisco has a new poet laureate, I think.
Every word is true. Every single one.
Our next roaster, it's my pleasure to introduce. He's an amazing person who is the program manager for the 50 Plus network at the San Francisco AIDS Foundation, which supports people living with HIV as they confront their senior years. And many of us are. Vince often works with ALRP staff on client and community initiatives. Himself, he is a long-term survivor of HIV AIDS. Vince has referred countless individuals to ALRP, and he's even used ALRP services himself on occasion. In all of his work over many decades, Vince brings some passion and dedication that only someone with lived experience can offer. He has served in various organizations around the world in places like Thailand, Guam, Switzerland, and Washington, D.C. Here's a man who's never afraid to speak his truth. I introduce to you, Vince Cristofomo.
Welcome, Vince.
Wow, thank you. God, for some reason I thought I was going first, but it's kind of like, and I think all my good hairlines have been taken. Brett took the first one about cutting Bill's hair off. But anyway, this is such a nifty event.
Oh, sweet.
I don't see any glasses going up.
Yes, you do.
So many nifty people.
Oh, okay.
Saying so many nifty things about such a nifty guy. So that's at least 4 drinks. So anyway, so I was very active. I was here in the 90s. In fact, I was on the team that hired Lance at API Wellness Center. And, but we won't roast Lance here. Anyway, I moved back in 2013, and one of the first people I met was Bill, because I had a housing issue, and I had to go to ALRP, and then I started working at the AIDS Foundation. And then as I started to get around, like every meeting I went to, there was Bill, like every single meeting. And every once, and like every other meeting, sometimes 2 in the same month, Bill would always go off, and he'd always end by saying, I'll stop my public rant now. And I think you just said that at the Happen meeting just last week, but that's been a very common line. And, but I think the public rants are better than if you do those in private. If you start doing those in private, let us know. I was going to talk a little bit about his hair, but since everybody already took my hair jokes, I will say one thing. I had hair like yours once, Bill. It was the result of a bad perm. Is yours natural?
Yes.
Okay, that's good to know. And you should just hang on to it, because other people who don't have it really wish they do. So they just make fun of you because maybe they don't have any. What else can I say? Bill was an active member of our HIV and aging work group for the Long-Term Care Council. And every month he would come, and sometimes our long-term survivors forget that there are other people in the room. And they will talk about how nobody cares about them and how no one's done anything. And yet Bill would be sitting there talking about all the things that he's done for us. And he would always just take it. You never said anything. You just let them rant and go off. And I always admired that about him. And when I was asked to roast Bill, I called up my friends at the Mayor's Office of Housing and Community Development that do HIV housing. And I said, hey, we're going to roast Bill Hirsh. Is there anything you want us to say? Is there anything you want me to say? Nobody got back to me, Bill, so I guess you're safe. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I actually have benefited greatly from ALRP. I think I've been to ALRP more times than my doctors over the 7 years that I've been back in San Francisco. Sometimes I have 2 or 3 cases personally going on at the same time, but I can always count on Bill to call me up or send a text like, how's it going, to check in. And so I will vouch for his character. I will vouch for him as a friend. And as a long-term survivor, I can't thank you enough for all the work that you've done for our community and will do for our community, because as you know, we're going through our second pandemic. So all the things you did in the first 20 years are going to be doubled in the next 20. So get ready. With that said, I will, you know, hopefully you guys had enough to drink in the beginning of my rant so that you won't remember anything that I said. But I do hope you will remember to take out your checkbooks and write something to ALRP, because Bill and his staff have been incredible. I don't know what we would do without them. And I can honestly tell you that you have raised the quality of my life. And I hope that all these people, the only Zoom meeting I've been to that had more people than this was a self-help group. So it's clear that that people love you, Bill. So just remember that, and here's to another 20 years.
Thank you, Vince.
Thank you, Vince. That was super sweet. We really appreciate that. We're going to keep things moving. We have up next, our next roaster is the great and powerful Michelle Roberts. Wow. It's so great to see you again, Michelle. Michelle is currently a partner at Cantor & Cantor, where she assists people with long-term disability insurance claims. She also served as president and treasurer secretary for the Federal Bar Association, Northern District of California, and was a founding partner at her own firm. Now, we got to know Michelle when she joined the ALRP board of directors, which she eventually co-chaired. Michelle's life's theme is a determination to fight for the underdog. And that is why she was invited here tonight to talk about Bill Hirsh. Michelle, you're on.
All right. Thank you, Jim and Donna, and to ALRP for this opportunity to get really dressed up for my living room. When I was asked,
Michelle, you gotta stop looking better than me. Listen.
When I was asked to do this live over Zoom, I was a little nervous. I was worried that Bill might not make it. And not because Bill wouldn't have it on his calendar. I'm sure he wrote it down in his little hard copy calendar book that he still carries around with him everywhere. No, Bill, I have it. I have it. This is it. This is Bill's black book. And sure enough, on December 16th, it says, get on internet. So I knew he wouldn't forget about his special date.
Yeah,
the reason I was concerned about Zoom was because I questioned, does Bill know what Zoom is? And will he know how to log in? You see, Bill was practicing social distancing long before it was a government mandate. It was only about 5 years ago that Bill got a cell phone. And I'm technically a millennial, as you can tell from my Peloton and my love of avocado toast. And when I met Bill and I learned he didn't have a cell phone, I was like, so many questions. How do you coordinate with people? How do you feel safe leaving your house? How do you practice things like driving and not texting? How do you accidentally butt dial your ex? Sorry, Thompson. But I can see that Bill has made it here. He has figured out Zoom, or he has found somebody who could help him do that. So I'm glad that you're here, Bill. But enough about Bill's lukewarm embrace of technology. I want to talk about Bill's booming voice, that incredibly loud voice that does not need a microphone at the annual auction. A voice that can hail a taxi in downtown San Francisco, all the way from his home in Bernal Heights. A voice that is so loud that you can still hear him on Zoom, even when he's on mute. So I have had the pleasure of having several lunches out with Bill at Ananda Fuara, you know, which has been mentioned several times. And Bill is a confidant. I trust him with my deepest, darkest secrets. But if you tell Bill a secret in a crowded restaurant, Rest assured that your secret is safe not only with him, but with 30 random strangers. But Bill, I look forward to many more lunches with you in the future, outdoors, of course. So all these endearing things that are very easy to tease Bill about are the same things that make him so easy to love, right? Because Bill isn't obsessed with technology or his iPhone, you know that when you're with him, you have his full attention, and he really makes you feel special. And because he still writes everything in his calendar, and he really truly does, as he just showed you, you know he's not going to cancel on you because it's just too unwieldy to have too many strike-through entries. So, Bill's big hair and his big voice match his equally big heart. And it would have been so easy and understandable for someone like Bill, given the type of work that ALRP does, to have burned out. But Bill is a tireless and fierce advocate for those who are less fortunate. And he is no less tireless and fierce now than he was 20 years ago. So please join me in a toast to Bill Hirsh, whose length of service is only rivaled by the length of his hair. Bill, thank you so much for everything you do for ALRP, its clients, and for attorneys like me who you've given an opportunity to give back. Wow. Love you, Bill.
Thank you, Michelle.
This is so great. I get paid to drink, finally. Oh, well.
Not for much longer, but
yeah, no, we'll keep it going.
Well, now this next roaster, I was puzzled. I don't know. You divvied these up and you gave this one to me. They're calling this person the First Lady of ALRP, Thompson Chambers. Now, evidently, I mean, does he have a partner? I don't know. For all these years, I've been to events. I've never seen his partner. He never comes to anything. I've never seen him at a function or bidding on something. When I'm flirting with Bill, I've never seen him come up. I must apologize. I didn't mean to come between anything, but does the guy exist? I want to see for myself. So bring him on. Let's see. Thompson Chambers.
He's usually
I could never compete with you, Donna. So I would avoid you at those events, but I was I want to thank you and Jim for this wonderful tribute for Billy. I'm actually going to make 3 toasts. I know we're running a little late, and I want to sort of cut to the chase. The first is to my ALRP family. One of the really special aspects of being the First Lady is that I've been able to participate with this organization for the last 20 years on several different levels, as a volunteer and a donor, as well as a co-host. In addition to attending all the formal events like Major Donor and the annual event, Billy and I have also sponsored gatherings at our home, like the annual holiday parties, the board brunches, and the executive committee dinners, which have allowed me to become close to so many of the staff and the board members, clerks and volunteers and their families, such that my relationship with all of these ALRP folks is really more as family than as coworkers. And typically those connections continue on long after these folks have left or moved away. So it's through this that I've learned that the kindness and empathy that is such a strong characteristic with Billy, one, of course, that is so strikingly important and relevant today, is also so common with everyone else that I've gotten to know at ALRP. Yes, even the much maligned office manager, Eric, such a nice, gentle, kind person. Thank you. I'm sure most of you are out there listening tonight, so I want to recognize each of you with my most humble acknowledgement for the work that you do, your personal and professional sacrifices, and your dedication to the mission of ALRP. I am truly in awe of all of you. Second, I want to make a very special toast to a special group in the ALRP community, and I know you're out there tonight, known internally as the FOBs, or Friends of Bill.
Oh.
This is a group of longtime dedicated ALRP supporters comprised primarily of Billy's and my oldest friends and family members, including like cousins from the East Coast and former neighbors and in-laws and work colleagues and college and graduate school friends. People in our immediate circle who responded to the call to volunteer and donate to ALRP when this all started 20 years ago. And they're still all going strong today, many of them as longtime major donors. And again, I know many of you are out there participating tonight. You know who you are. And I want to thank you all for everything you've done for ALRP and for Billy over these past 20 years. And finally, to my husband, Billy, when he was interviewing for the ED position in 2000, he told me that he thought he had found the perfect job, the right blend of policy work, advocacy, law, and management in a perfectly sized organization. And since then, I can't tell you how many times he's come home and over dinner, he'll recount with pride, like housing that was saved for someone that day, or an asylum case that was won, or even some cookies a grateful client had baked and brought to the office that day. It was Billy's kindness and his empathy for others that was a big attraction for me initially, but I had no idea how much these qualities would inform and guide his career choices and his professional accomplishments. So I toast to a man who we should all envy, as not many of us can land the perfect job and then keep it and succeed at it as long as Billy has done. And who knows, we may be back in 10 years to celebrate his 30th, and wouldn't that be nifty? Cheers. And
Nifty.
Thank you, honey.
Well, now I know you do exist. I mean, I tell you, I want to thank all the roasters and toasters tonight. It's not an easy job, and we appreciate your putting your thoughts together and getting your friends and getting some ideas. And you've all done a wonderful job, each unique in your own way. And I think that served the purpose tonight beautifully.
I also want to let folks know we are running a little bit over. We have another 12 minutes or so to go, including a couple of surprises and a very, very special presentation, and of course, Bill's rebuttal. So
wait,
you can hang in there.
You said rebuttal? Oh, I love
yeah.
That's nifty.
Oh, thank you, Donna. Nifty to you too. That was fabulous. So we do have a little surprise, and we're going to get our director team, our technical team, to roll the special surprise right now.
Hi, Billy. I have a little roast and toast for you. Since 1961, I've always been your big brother. And when I was in kindergarten, if you remember, I would come home after school and we would get tucked in to bed at bedtime, and I would sing to you all the patriotic songs I learned that day, like America the Beautiful. You were my captive audience, and I was your big brother. That's what big brothers do. As a middle brother, you were kind of quirky. You would rock on the edge of your bed for hours sometimes. You would have to have all of your food on separated on your plate. Nothing could touch each other, except, of course, rice, peas, and applesauce. And then one night I remember when you attempted to shove a half pint of mint chocolate chip ice cream into your face at 4 o'clock in the morning on a spoon. You also ate hot dogs for an entire year exclusively, and then became a vegetarian. So I just want to tell you, as a big brother, you know, I accepted those things, and I also forced you to play sports, and I showed my deep affection to you by pinning you down with the famous grass torture treatment. And I will admit now I begrudgingly apologize for that. But also I want to point out, as your big brother, I saved our teenage asses when we were fighting. Stevie coming at me with a knife, your nose bleeding, I'm holding both of you off with a chair, and our dear mother, the wife of the town judge, screaming, "Kill each other, I don't care anymore," and calling the cops on us. And what did I do? I quickly got your bleeding under control, got the knife out of Stevie's hand, and got us all gathered together on the steps very peacefully, just as the arresting officer arrived. Now, what I couldn't stop as your big brother is when you backed the family station wagon back down the driveway, up onto the front lawn, smack into a pine tree. You know, there's only so much I can do. But I did intervene when you were listening to David Cassidy and the Partridge Family, the Archie's bubblegum music, And I steered you away into Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, Jackson Browne, Joni Mitchell, James Taylor. But what I couldn't do is when you started rocking out to Melanie. You know, there's really only so much I can do. I even packed up the U-Haul and moved your ass from Philadelphia to San Francisco. Used kitty litter and all, and even got your first apartment lined up out here. But then, just like magic, all at once, you, like Shazam, everything changed. You at 6'1", and me still stuck at 5'9", and I was no longer your big brother. I became Billy's brother. We would walk down pretty much any street in San Francisco, and women would do 180s to stare at your flowing golden locks. And, you know, everyone seemed to know you. They would come over to me and say, "Oh, you must be Billy's brother." You know, before you know it, you're shaking hands with Jesse Jackson when you win the Golden Gate Law School Student Services Award. Then all of a sudden, you know everybody in the Board of Supervisors, they know you. Nancy Pelosi is singing your praises. You know, even when I got on a flight with Kamala Harris flying from San Francisco to Newark, we were talking family. She goes, "Oh, you must be Billy's brother." I mean, what the hell? Billy, all joking aside, I really admire you as my brother and my best friend. You've accomplished tremendous things professionally. The tender-hearted, slightly corrupting, and attentive uncle you've been to our twins. The dedicated and caring dad you've been to Jesse. The loving and complimentary husband you've been to Thompson. The ruthless camp counselor from hell you've been to the crew. And Billy, besides Stevie, you are the best brother I've ever had. And I do appreciate your brownies. Your generosity, your compassion for others less fortunate, your wry sense of humor, your steadfast leadership of ALRP, and your ongoing fight for fairness and justice. I love you, and I am proud to be Billy's brother. Congratulations on this tribute.
My older brother, Billy, is a passionate warrior, fighting for people who don't have resources or power. Everybody here tonight loves and admires Billy for his honesty, loyalty, integrity, and tireless pursuit of justice. But Billy is an older brother only to me. Billy's generosity and gentleness have informed all my life choices. When we were little, we used to play dress up and perform for the family. Billy would be Dorothy. I would be Toto, which pretty much sums it up. No matter what lay ahead, Billy paved the way. He showed me the importance of hard work when he took an afternoon job at Arby's. He wore a hairnet, emptied the grease pits, and came home every night smelling of roast beef. Without his example, I would never have had my own after-school career at Burger King, and never would have been fired for being drunk on the job. Thank you, Billy. He let me follow him to college. He even let me move in with him. And in the summer when he came to San Francisco to be with Richie, he let me tag along. He came out to my mother and father before I did. Afterwards, my mother told me, "Now I'm going to put my head in the oven." That made it so much easier for me to come out to her next. Billy taught me everything I know about music, food, travel, friendship. Who else can you depend on to tell you the 20 best movies in this year's Lesbian and Gay Film Festival of the Czech Republic? Who else is going to tell you when Joan Baez's 91st concert album is about to drop? But enough poking fun. Roasting Billy is like roasting Mother Teresa. Saint, sure, but couldn't you get a trim and a blowout once in a while? Is there some rule against saints wearing closed-toe shoes? So, to the toast. Billy has dedicated his life to helping people. He is a man of action. The stories he tells me on our weekly phone calls are about stopping people from being evicted, getting them the medical and mental health resources they need. The most fitting words to toast Billy with are his own. Power to the people. We are so lucky to have Billy in our lives as a colleague, mentor, friend, and for me, older brother. We love you, Billy.
Wow.
It's actual brothers. That's so sweet.
Bill, were you surprised?
Yes.
Yeah, that was amazing. Hey, if that wasn't nifty, nothing is, right?
Oh, nifty.
That was fantastic.
That was
Well,
really
here's another surprise, Donna.
You'll love this. You know, in addition to the certificate we got from Raphael Mandelman from the Board of Supervisors, we have other certificates. Now, we have a certificate from the Mayor of San Francisco, London Breed, congratulating you on your 20 years of service to ALRP. We also have from the State Assembly, signed by Brian Hsu, a certificate congratulating you on those years. And here to present, we'd love to present you with the actual certificate itself. We have a certificate from the State Senate. This was gotten for you by Scott Wiener. There it is to be read right there. The fine print, I don't think Jim or I either can read it, but
no, not happening.
All very, very, very nice. So you're being recognized from a lot of places and well-deserved, I must say. So, oh, wait 1 second. I have a very important call. I wouldn't answer it normally, but it's a red phone. So hold on 1 second. I'm sorry, what? No. Oh, it's Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris calling. What, Kamala? No, you want me to repeat it exactly as you're saying it. Okay. Bill, are you listening? Kamala says, maybe you should keep your job. You're not going to get that cabinet position after all. Well, I mean, I can't, I'm supposed to tell him that? Okay, she's got to go. She's very busy. Okay, love you, Kamala. We'll see you at the inauguration. Can you believe everybody knows about you, Bill? You're very famous.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? I have to say. So true. So let's see, where are we here? You know, I think we should probably just keep things rolling and jump on into the very next thing. I have to say a little word or two before we get too crazy. Okay, that one of those words is going to have to be nifty. Yes, we have to be nifty. Oh. I think we actually have one more surprise in the form of some sort of cheer, and our technical director is going to.
Oh, nobody can get. You got SF cheer to do something. No, nobody can get them. Here we are. Cheer SF.
Roll it.
All right. Only for you, Bill. Wow, that was great. I love me some cheer SF.
And they actually told us that was the most fun video that they did the entire year. So that's for you, Bill. Now, before we bring Bill up to defend himself and rebut, rebut.
You said "but" again. I love the word. I love that you're saying those words.
Oh, got it. Yeah. Well, it is kind of fun. So, well, before we do that, there is actually something that I would like to say. It is my last hurrah here at ALRP, and I just want to kind of share a little special presentation for Bill. And before that, just share with you that for the last 20 years, Bill Hirsh has served as the Executive Director of ALRP. And for 18 of those years, I've had the honor and privilege of serving beside him. We were like Johnny Carson and Ed McMahon, and sometimes more like Lucy and Ethel. and that one time we were more like Karen and Just Jim. Okay, more than one time. But seriously, it has been an amazing partnership. Thank you, Bill. I've been fortunate in my life to have three amazing role models. I'm getting verklempt. My dad, my husband, John, and Bill, my boss and my friend. No one exemplifies the phrase from the heart more than Bill Hirsh. He is a true mensch in every sense of the word. He's a pioneer, an inspiring leader, a good man, and a true hero. And Bill, we have a special presentation for you now. It's called Bill Hirsh, the man, the mensch, the legend. This is for you.
Beautifully done.
So as Stevie Nicks says in her song Rhiannon, once in a million years, a man like him rises. And now we rise up and we raise our glasses to you, Bill. Everyone, please raise your glass with me. A toast to Bill Hirsh, the richest man on earth. Mazel tov, Bill.
Thank you.
And now we give you the man, the mensch, the legend of the hour, the year, and the last 2 decades, the one and only Bill Hirsh. You have 30 seconds to respond.
I'll give him 60.
All right, 60.
So I do have to put my glasses on and read some remarks that I prepared. It just works better that way. I will only say a few words in rebuttal, I promise. And this has been a very emotional experience for me. So thank you all. First, I want to say thanks for taking the time to join this celebration tonight. It has been such a terrible year that it feels a little hard to celebrate. But if we must have a laugh at my expense, so be it. I appreciate any opportunity to celebrate ALRP and its rich history of service to the community. I am a bit overwhelmed with the roast and toast, and so appreciate all the work that went into making this event happen. I want to thank all the roasters and toasters, my dear friend, or as Jim calls them, FOBs, my brothers, and my husband Thompson for so graciously serving as ALRP's First Lady all these years with endless volunteering and hosting. Thanks especially to my work husband, Jim, who is wrapping up 18 years of service with ALRP and is not being roasted or toasted tonight, but I will generously take another big swig of wine in his honor. His friendship is one of the greatest gifts that ALRP has given me. And I'm very much looking forward to working with his worthy and much younger successor, Adam Michael. Not long after I found the courage to come out as a gay man, I moved to San Francisco just as the AIDS epidemic was unfolding. It is hard to recall how much AIDS defined San Francisco in the 1980s and 90s, and somehow, all these years later, we still face terrible poverty, racism, and a new pandemic. An old guy could get tired. I can recall when, as a brand new attorney, I met Clint Hockenberry, then the ALRP Executive Director and its only staffer. Like many others, I was so afraid of AIDS back then. I was also inspired by Clint's bravery and the bravery of so many who were facing such terrible, almost unspeakable cruelty. I remember thinking that I could not imagine a more meaningful way to serve the community than doing the work that Clint was doing. ALRP provided the forum for a small army of attorneys to meet the needs of people who are facing the most horrific of diseases. I joined the fight as a volunteer. Now, 37 years later, we still have hundreds of attorneys engaged in volunteering to serve our clients, along with a staff that includes 13 amazing staff attorneys. And thank you, Jamie, for so ably representing them. Some folks think I had a hand in founding this organization, and I can understand why you might think that, given how long I've been serving as executive director. 20 years with any nonprofit is a long time. In part, perhaps because of my long hair, in part because I've been around so long, I have people come up to me all the time, thanking me for the help that they received at ALRP. I hear their stories, sometimes the success, sometimes just the sorrow, but always a deep appreciation for what it meant to have someone fighting for them. If my persistence and dedication to this cause have been helpful in keeping this organization's mission going strong, then I am happy and proud of my service. I feel so blessed to live in a place like San Francisco, which, while far from perfect, and believe me, I've spent much of my career trying to make it better, is at its heart a place of compassion, diversity, and beauty. I mean, where else could a gay long-hair hippie wannabe get steady employment? I often say that the folks who are least able to deal with the system are the folks who are forced to deal with it the most. That is why I think that attorneys have a special role to play in advocating for folks living with HIV. The reality is that our clients are not just folks living with HIV, though. They are also people of color, immigrants, transgender folks, people living with mental illness and substance use disorders, people who are living with extremely low incomes. When I am advocating for funding for legal services for people living with HIV, I am working to ensure that budget documents reflect the needs of communities which are traditionally underserved. And after all these years, I have heartfully embraced my inner cranky old person who feels comfortable sharing my perspective in whatever form I can. And thank you, Vince, for talking about my rants. ALRP is a special organization, and it has been my privilege, my honor, my life's work to serve as its director. 20 years is a lot of years and a lot of people to reflect on. The clients, the staffers, the volunteer panel attorneys, the board members, the colleagues, and the many generous supporters. Every day, I am inspired by the way that working together, we change the lives of our clients. With whatever wine is left in your glass, let's toast tonight to a more just world, a more compassionate world, a more peaceful world, a healthier world. And with that, I rest my case.
So well said. Thank you so much, Bill. I hope you'll forgive the comments that were made at your expense and relish the ones that were made in praise of you. On a personal note, I have lived in San Francisco for nearly 30 years now, it seems like. And I had the great privilege of living in a beautiful home in the Castro for 23 years that I rented, and suddenly got the notice of a no-fault eviction because they wanted a relative to move in. So it was an owner move-in. I didn't know what to do. And legal things are so foreign to us that are not in the legal profession. To hear those words was just devastating. I eventually found my way hesitantly to ALRP, and that first appointment I saw Bill there. And I must say, there's no way to replace that, but he helped me find a way to get through it. And ALRP was there for me. So on a personal level, thank you so much.
Well, Donna, thank you for being here tonight. You're such a big part of the ALRP family and really helped make this a very, very special event. We also want to thank all of our roasters for being on the panel with us. Our amazing team, Walter Ryan and the Merchant Exchange Productions. Hire them. This is the second time we've used them. They're amazing. Not one technical flaw in either event.
Just great.
They're just amazing. And thank all of you for being here tonight. This is a beautifully attended event. I do want to remind you that there is an after party that is happening on Zoom meeting. So we want to pull that slide back up and welcome you all to join Bill live at the after party. Everybody will have their own Brady Bunch box, and you all can talk to each other and use the chat there as well.
And I understand drinking is encouraged at the after party?
Absolutely, of course. It's a very nifty place to be.
Oh, nifty. Oh.
So that meeting ID again is 886-5598-2084. And the passcode is, of course, nifty. So come join us, and I'm sure Bill would love to see you and chat with you directly. We hope you enjoy the evening's roast and toast, and feel free to make a year-end donation at www.alrp.org. We love you all. Thank you for being here. Have a great night. To take us out, we have a very special presentation from a beautiful young singer. She's 14 years old. She's the daughter of very close friends of Bill's. This is a little surprise for Bill. Audie Ginther, daughter of Michael Ginther and Jim O'Donnell. And she's done this beautiful special song from Hairspray just for Bill to take us out. We'll see you in the Zoom meeting.
We love you, Bill.
Good night.
Thank you.
There's a light in the darkness, though the night as black as my skin. There's a light burning bright, showing me the way. the distance. It's a voice that comes from deep within. There's a cry asking why. I pray the answers up ahead. 'Cause I know where I've been. There's a road we've been traveling, lost so many on the way, but the riches will be plenty, worth the price we had to pay. There's a dream in the future. There's a struggle we have yet to win. And there's pride in my heart, 'cause I know where I'm going, and I know where I've been. There's a road that we must travel, y'all. There's a promise that we must make. Oh, but the riches will be plenty, with the risks and the chances that we take. There's a dream in the future. There's a struggle we have yet to win. Use that pride in our hearts to lift us up until tomorrow. 'Cause just to sit still would be a sin. I know where